This is the Dallas Morning News.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
Hello, and welcome to Eat, Drink, DFW, the podcast from the Dallas Morning News food team. Each week, we take a look at food and drink trends in North Texas, talk about restaurants in Dallas-Fort Worth, learn some new recipes, and sometimes even get tips from you, our listeners. I'm Anna Butler, the Dallas Morning News' food editor, and all this month, we've been focusing on your favorite go-to recipes for the summer. We asked you what you've been eating to stay cool, and you guys had some brilliant ideas that we're frankly dying to try. We'll share those and an update about our own summer plans right after this.
Don't miss the Texas Chowdown going on now at Central Market, where we're really into Texas. Like our buttermilk pecan pie is nuttier than a rodeo clown. We like our cowboy cut bacon even thicker than the humidity. And when talking Gulf oysters, we shuck around and find out. We're really into Texas. If you are too, gather round for the Texas Chowdown, featuring tasty local favorites from the Panhandle to the coast, as only Central Market could wrangle up, like Gulf shrimp, Texas beef, local peaches, and more. Shop now at Central Market.
For the latest food and restaurant news in Dallas-Fort Worth, visit dallasnews.com/food. Also, we'd love to hear from you, so email us at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. Today, I am joined by our food writers Sarah Blaskovich and Imelda Garcia, who have been collecting recipes from readers and listeners for weeks now. You might want to take some notes this episode because we have a ton of great ones to share. In fact, we're going to start with 2 recipes from Chris.
Hello, my name is Chris Patterson. Thank you so much. I've got a couple of great summer recipes to share that are super easy. The first is the best rotisserie chicken that I think you'll ever make. It's better than any store-bought one I've ever done, at least. The first thing you want to do is grab a cast iron skillet with a preheated oven at 425. I will pour a jar of chicken broth in there. I like the Fond, F-O-N-D brand of bone broth to put in the bottom of the skillet. Then I'll place the raw chicken into the skillet and coat it with about 2 tablespoons of Himalayan pink sea salt. At that point, I'll throw the chicken in the oven at 425 and let it roast for an hour. Don't touch it. Don't even look at it. After about an hour, the skin should be really crispy and golden brown to your liking. The cook time may vary just depending on your oven. After that, I'll take the chicken out of the skillet and then I'll make a gravy with all of the bone broth and the drippings. So then I'll just add flour to my hot pan and cook it over low to medium heat, whisking the flour constantly so that it doesn't clump up. And then you're just cooking the gravy until it's the consistency that you like. It should come out a light kind of golden brown, and it tastes great served on top of the chicken. The next recipe I have is something I borrowed from the Defined Dish cookbook. It's a Whole30 friendly Thai basil beef. I'll get some skirt steak and lay it out on a cutting board and tenderize it with either a mallet or the bottom of a heavy skillet. I'll slice the steak in strips, add it into a large bowl, and coat it with salt, pepper, and arrowroot powder. At that point, I'll put it into a cast iron skillet and saute the beef so that it gets a crispy kind of golden brown. Just make sure whenever you're searing the beef to do it in batches so you don't overcrowd the skillet and that it all gets nice and brown. After that, I'll set the beef to the side and then prepare the vegetables. So I'll get some onions, bell peppers, green and red, about 4 cloves of garlic, sprinkle in some salt and pepper, and then I'll saute those until they're tender. At that point, I will throw everything back into the skillet, put about a cup of coconut aminos in there and a few shakes of red boat fish sauce. Cook that and simmer it until the sauce starts to thicken to the consistency that you like. To keep it Whole30 friendly, I'll serve it over cauliflower rice and put it in a bowl, and it looks great and tastes even better.
Okay, Chris, I'm in love with you. If I go to your home, I'm going to bring my suitcase because
oh my gosh,
I want to eat that rotisserie chicken every day. I love rotisserie chicken. I love your recipe. The only thing that it's going to be hard for me and it's going to be a struggle is don't look at it. Why? No. It's amazing to see a rotisserie chicken in the making.
I liked that tip, actually. I thought like, ooh, there's so many things that you can get done while you're not looking at it. But then I thought exactly what you said, Imelda. I was like, I'm definitely going to look at it.
Yeah, now I'm looking at it.
I also feel like it's just right that we have a Defined Dish call out just because, you know, Defined Dish is synonymous with North Texas for me. But it also looks like we have another recipe from the Defined Dish from Katie.
Hi, this is Katie from Dallas, Texas. And my favorite dish at the moment is the Defined Dish spring roll grilled chicken salad. salad. It has cooked vermicelli noodles and romaine, cucumber, jalapeno, shredded carrots with this peanut dressing. So the dressing has fish sauce, lime juice, peanut butter, soy sauce, or coconut aminos. Oh, and red curry paste. It's so good with coconut milk as well. You marinate the chicken with the same dressing that you put on the salad. You just mix it all together with herbs like cilantro and basil and mint at the end with a side of lime and peanuts. It is out of control. It is my favorite recipe.
I think the mint is going to give a fresh flavor for this dish.
That sounds great just in the fridge, right? Like you make that on Sunday afternoon or whatever. And whenever you're hungry or your kids are looking for something that's good for them in the fridge, they could eat that. It sounds like the kind of dish that will last a couple of days.
I absolutely love anything with a peanut sauce too. And if you don't want to make your own, Trader Joe's has a fantastic peanut satay.
Sauce. I don't think I've tried that, but I've looked at it a million times.
It tastes exactly like this one from a restaurant that has since closed in Austin called Satay. And it is really peanut forward, but not too sweet.
Sounds delicious. Okay, here's a great recipe for anyone who is entertaining this summer, because we always need those tasty, easy recipes that don't require an oven.
Hi, this is Becky from Dallas, Texas. What I love to make every summer are endive salad boats. My favorite version is a mix of blue cheese, walnuts, olive oil, shallots, and sometimes I add in julienne pear. I put a scoop in an endive lettuce leaf, like a pre-made dip cup, for an easy 1 or 2 bite treat. I actually submitted this recipe to Brookhaven Country Club when they were compiling a cookbook, and I've had so many people come up to me and say how much they love it and they rave about it. And I should actually give my mom credit because this is her recipe.
Becky, that sounds good. Also, endive, which I don't say it as cool as Becky does, but endive is like God-made little cups that are greens.
And you know, they're so versatile because if you do finely chop an endive, and especially with finely chopped radicchio, it is one of those kind of like bitter and tasty salad greens that I really enjoy, that changes things up and makes people wonder a little bit like, okay, this is an iceberg. What am I eating? But not in like a, what am I eating kind of way. For a dressing with something like that, I'll make a walnut vinaigrette or something kind of nutty. And so you want it to be super chilled when you're doing that. And you can add a little bit of brightness by throwing in some parsley too.
And pasta is an easy weeknight meal during the summer, but meat sauce might be too heavy when it's 100 degrees outside. Noelle has an easy alternative for us.
Hi, this is Noelle from Dallas, and I wanted to share with you one of my favorite summer recipes. It is Lil Frankie's lemon spaghetti. So if you've ever been to New York City and been lucky enough to go to Lil Frankie's, or lemon spaghetti is one of the most refreshing dishes that you can actually make at home, thanks to Frank himself actually sharing this recipe on Instagram during COVID. So I love to make this as a side dish in the summer with like a crispy chicken or even like a shrimp on the side. Adds a little bit of protein and really works well with the lemon and the butter. So it's really super easy to make. This is one of the reasons it's my go-to in the summer. You're going to make the pasta just as you normally would. Going to make sure that the pasta water itself is super, super salty, and even add more once it gets boiling. Warm up the plates like as you're cooking the pasta, just to make sure that they're ready for it once you emulsify the butter and the freshly squeezed lemon together. Make sure you always add the pasta water and that the butter is super cold. The temperature of these things really does matter to make sure that it actually stays a cohesive, really beautiful, creamy sauce. The great thing about this is that it's super easy, but the quality of the ingredients is important. So make sure to buy that like really great high quality Parmesan cheese and just grate that right over the top at the end, and make sure to not mix it in. The perfect bite is just cheese and the pasta itself swirled on your fork in a perfect bite.
I feel like I should disclose that Noelle is one of my best friends in the world, and we've known each other closer to 20 years than 10 at this point. And so it was really fun for her to get to submit a recipe for this. And she is a fantastic cook and has slowly been cooking her way through her family recipes over the past few years. She also loves anything that's a callback to our days in New York.
Another great cook is calling in. Mrs. Keeley has an easy gazpacho recipe for us.
Hi, this is Shauna from Plano. And my go-to summer dish is gazpacho. It's from a really old cookbook, the Junior League of Palo Alto. You throw all the ingredients in the food processor: tomato, onion, cucumber, bell pepper, celery, parsley, chives, garlic, You puree that. Then you add the V8 juice, red wine vinegar, olive oil, lemon juice, Tabasco, Worcestershire. Stir it up, put it in the fridge. V8 is the kicker. It doesn't use regular tomato juice, so it just enhances all the flavors. When I serve it, I usually have garnishes on top, which can be hard-boiled egg. I like it the best with croutons and avocado, little pieces. The other key is I make it the day before I'm going to serve it so that it's really flavorful. I've compared lots of recipes, and this is the best. I don't have to cook. I don't have to turn the oven on. Doesn't heat up the house. And there you go.
I can say that this is one of the Junior League cookbooks I don't own, and I'm extremely excited to try this.
It sounds really good. I want to say that I sort of grew up in this house. I know I've had this gazpacho. Mrs. Keeley, I have to call her that because I couldn't possibly call her by her first name. Even though as an adult, this is my best friend's mom. I've known her since I was in 6th grade. And there's a group of us who are best friends. And several of the moms have said to those of us who are adults now, you should really call me by my first name. And none of us can do that. So Mrs. Keeley, I can attest, is a wonderful cook. Pretty much everything interesting that I ever ate between about 6th grade and 10th grade was first consumed in her home at her table.
Can we trade the Tabasco sauce maybe for a jalapeno? You know, because Tabasco sauce is like really vinegary. So maybe that will like enhance the flavor.
Or a Serrano if you're a Imelda.
Or a Serrano, yeah. Please ask Mrs. Keeley.
I will.
Thank you.
And I suppose y'all are shocked at this point that none of my family members have been involved in any of the recipes.
Oh, stop that. You have 100 of them.
Well, you know, we got another. So,
wait, do you have another family member who hasn't been on?
Yeah, I have like brothers and stuff too still.
Oh, the brothers.
But
Okay.
you know, this is a ranch water recipe that's a little zhuzhed up from my little sister, Sarah.
Good name.
Hi, I'm Sarah Butler. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I am related to Anna Butler. I'm going to share an even more refreshing take on a ranch water. So first you'll line your rim with some agave and tahini, then add in 2 ounces of 21 seeds cucumber jalapeno tequila, 2 ounces of coconut water, squeeze in a little bit of lime juice. If you want a bit more sweet, then add a touch of agave. You can add in Topo Chico for some carbonation, include lots of ice, and stir. You can serve this to really anyone. I brought it to our Mahjong brunch a few weeks ago, completely forgetting the fact that Anna absolutely hates coconut. So maybe anyone except for those under the legal drinking age and who hate coconut. Sorry about that, Anna.
Sarah, you know your stuff. I want to meet you.
Yeah, she sounds great. I'm also feeling as though, and stop me if you've heard this one, this cocktail's good for you because it has coconut water in it. Am I right, guys?
And cucumber infused tequila.
Basically, it's a salad, I would say.
It's a salad. And I love to make a salad out of a cocktail myself.
Yeah.
So I've been really into infusing alcohols. And so this infusion, I did it with Lalo tequila. I think it is good to use a higher quality.
Yep.
This was inspired, though, by a cocktail at Cayo on Lower Greenville, sister restaurant to Shoyo. Basically, you just chop up a bunch of raw red bell peppers. You can or cannot include the seeds. I don't really think it affects the flavor, so I didn't. But I did 2 whole red bell peppers, added an entire pint of tequila to it, and just let that seep overnight. And it turns a beautiful translucent red color, but you taste the red bell pepper. And it's so good with just a splash of lime juice, a splash of agave, and then Topo Chico. And it's very, very refreshing. But you can do it with just about any vegetable if you're curious enough.
That's cool. Isn't it interesting, you guys, that we got so many wonderful recipes, yet none of them were desserts? And I wonder if we don't, think of desserts when we think of like pool season. But I want to say that this summer, I'm going to cook more with peaches. I grew up going to East Texas and eating peaches in the summertime, and you can make them into a dessert, as in my grandmother's delicious peach crisp recipe. But maybe we'll just put them on the grill and have them with dinner.
A grilled peach with mascarpone with cinnamon inside of it is one of my favorite things. But it's also, we're almost to like official like height of peach season right now. And so I think this is so fitting. We made a lot of peach ice cream growing up.
Yeah.
And so that's another one. But there are a lot of things like tomato ice cream. I'm just kidding.
Get out of here with that.
What? No, Jacksonville.
But there's a lot of things that we've talked about through these past several weeks that I'm excited to try.
Yeah.
And most of them involve tomatoes. I'm so sorry, Julie.
Oh, she's missing out.
It really doesn't matter because I did get my favorite recipe of the summer so far, courtesy of Mike, that kale Caesar that he told us about in the very first episode of June. I've made that so many times. And in fact, I'm making it for dinner tonight. And anytime my family says, what's for dinner? And I'm like, I'm making that kale Caesar. They're like, oh, yes, yes. That's how much everyone loves it.
I'm not kidding. He describes it himself as the best Caesar salad in the world.
He's not kidding. It is legit that good and that easy. Everybody needs to try that one.
I think it's worth pointing out how cool it is to let our readers call and tell us what they're cooking. And then for Julie to find her favorite recipe of the year. I just know that those listening hopefully found something that they're going to make. And I love that. What a cool community we have created here.
I just have a request. Please, please, please don't cook the chilaquiles recipe for my sister. Of the episode 3, it's bleh, guacala. No, don't do it, please.
And don't let the fun stop here. Please reach out to us if you have any other recipes that we should be cooking at eatdrink@dallasnews.com. That's all the time we have for today. But heads up, Eat Drink DFW is taking a quick summer break. That's right. We'll be off for the entire month of July, but we'll be back in August to help you get ready for back to school time. In the meantime, remember you can find everything you need to know about eating and drinking in North Texas and beyond at dallasnews.com/food. Special thanks to our producer, Julie Fisk. For the news, I'm Anna Butler. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in August.
In August!
Have a great summer, everyone.
Enjoy.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.